we're looking at the VIX here, down to 23.87, was as high as 29 in the wee hours in the morning around 3:30 a.m. Eastern time. I did close out the remaining half of my VIX position for November, just in case we are going to retreat. It would have been lovely to see the ability to close this thing out at 28, 29. But when VIX was in the 24s, I closed it out. It was a pretty good win. What was that closed out yesterday for? So we closed it out for like 410 credit, and then I had another chunk for some managed accounts that closed out in the fives. That would have been 550 credit with a 285 debit. So it's not awful. 550 credit minus 285. So about a 93% gain on that trade for crash insurance. We took it here in daily profit play. That certainly helped a little bit for a small hedge. I still have the hedge going out to November, and that hedge is up 9%. But I'm looking to see, if the VIX gets into 30, 35, 40. Also, we're going out into that weakness window through Q1, February, March, and into April. If we're going to have a reasonable correction, if the market just doesn't pull back now, this is really the best time for this window. We had some regional bank drama coming in yesterday. KRE was down quite a bit, sharply, in fact. Is this a sign of things to come? We'll see. We looked at residential construction jobs yesterday. Look, I'm growing a bit more cautious going into 2026. I just think that it's probably important to kind of tighten up positions, tighten up risk. Today, I'm going to be going through some of my project options edge positions, and again, likely clearing out some additional profits, even if it's not 80, 90% of the credit that I want. If it's 50, 60, 70% of the credit, I will take it. I'll get back some additional buying power, and I'll just look at all the positions. So NWS is down to 29. Crap. So we need this thing to push down to like 27. This trade expires today. Let me see what my DTE looks like for today. DTE, days to expiration. So I've got Tesla with traded at 428. I think I just have a put on Tesla. Yeah, part of the collar trade. I rolled out the call. So my 280 put, I'm not really worried about that. That was going to be worthless, but I did a collar trade, so the cover call is still helping me generate some credits. Ratio spread's looking good, up about 50%. So that's $500 out of the max 1015, 1025. Still liking those trades all the way down to like the 250 and 220 handle on Tesla. Bull put spreads looking pretty good as well, up 82%. Trades like that, I mean, I can try to grab the extra $90 of profit, or I can take the extra 82 and pull out, 60, well, I guess $6,000 worth of buying power. So trades like that where they're pretty wide. If I'm collecting most of the credit, and maybe there's $50 remaining, I mean, $50 I can part ways with if I've got $400 to $500 in profit. So I'll be assessing the portfolio for things like that today. So that's Tesla expirations. NWS is a pinch point. This one's going to be, we'll see if we can close this one out for a small loss. If it's a full loss today, it's because the put side just didn't push low enough. I needed this thing to push like 27, like 27.20 or 27.30 for break even. It didn't get there. I think we had lows at like 28 or 29. This is a futures hedge that's going to expire worthless. It was only a few $100, no big deal. Sky West in some profit. This trade expires today for full profit, so it'll be a winner. $100 profit trap and ratio spread at 82. That's a nice winner, $300. I'll take that today. So overall, we got some winners. We closed out MGM for winners. NWS will be a loser. Sky West will be a winner. Probably going to book some more profits today in project options edge. SPX, I rolled to Monday for that 6640 by 6655 and 6660. That's a daily profit play and waterfall income. those two remaining bear call spread portions of those trades. We'll see if we get, back to 6,600. We see if we get to, I mean, some of the gamma levels this morning are pretty solid. So looking at, let me take a screenshot of this from yesterday. So copy link. Daily profit play yesterday. So yesterday, the close, small gap higher, Thursday price. Okay, so did it stay between the 50s? It did. And we won the day yesterday. And there's your post. Close was 66.29. Okay, so let's recenter this bad boy on 66.29. And we have a new box. Gamma levels, pretty big levels down to 65.50, which retests our low from Friday and the low again from Tuesday. 6,500. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't mind seeing the market go a little bit lower today if we're going to have some direction. We're in negative gamma right now, even with futures opening kind of flat. I mean, this has been bouncing around all morning. I'll show you here in the shorter time frame. Here's futures. Let's go 15-minute chart. So high to low, fail, broke down, retested. I mean, there's a lot of noise in here, obviously, but this was down. I mean, futures down this morning and then coming back overnight. So we had a pretty reasonable comeback. And again, that looks exactly like the VIX. The VIX has been retreating. Take a look at your VIX here from 29 all the way back down to 20, sub 24, which still, that's a super high VIX. But that retreat has justified a run up here in futures. Okay. So I'm curious where things are going to be positioned today, how we're going to get some flows. Is it just a bunch of noise? Maybe these levels aren't reached. So we'll see. If the market opens up and immediately starts to fall, then there's my magnetic pull on 0DT flows, which is fine. All I'm trying to do on that 66.40 trade that we extended the bear call spread a couple of times. I'm just trying to survive it by Monday. Not trying to go out super far. Timing wise, as long as we are trying to test these levels, this could be pretty good. So I'm seeing more and more news come out of DC right now. Government shutdown still happening. We have no data. Regional bank stuff is certainly not a good look for some of the other optics, where basically, like, if you've heard of Tricolor, First Brands, those are private equity deals that if you look under the hood, there's some fraud. There's some liquidations where when you're forced to go mark to market, and it's like the money's not there, or it's a bankruptcy. It's not a good thing. And then, of course, that drives the speculation of, are there more? So we'll see. I mean, if there's a big pull for liquidations, the private equity world is going to be rocked a little bit. This has been discussed for years now, where you call something private equity. If anybody's ever watched the movie, it's put aside the other crap that happens in it, but the movie Arbitrage. Richard Gere is executive of a company, whatever, 20-30 year history, and just had some flat out fraud, and he ended up packaging it up, selling it off to another company to get out of trouble. And I feel like that's what the private equity world is in a little bit. That if we don't, I don't know, and maybe there's creative accounting going on. Maybe there's lots of ways to make sure that it doesn't become a credit issue or become a debt issue. But one thing that was a little alarming last night is listening to a session talking about the 10-year yield, and that the 10-year yield is going to no longer, make any progress to the downside. In fact, I just called our mortgage provider yesterday, and I was just asking, what is the spot rate right now for a refi? We closed at 6.6 in late May of this year. And that was at the time, this little correction, and things were kind of wide, but I closed at 6.6 right here. Right now, the average mortgage rate, I can show you on the watch list. Average mortgage rate is somewhere in here somewhere. 6.06 is the average rate. So refi is this, 6.1. My concern is that this 10-year goes back up, this goes back up, and then we're left wondering, well, how are we going to fix the housing market? Either prices come down or rates come down. Right now, rates are not looking like they're going to go too much lower. I was wanting to refi in like the mid fives if possible. It's just not there unless I want to buy it on the rates, which I don't. So anyway, my problem, not yours. Yeah, if that was my rate. 2.72 was my rate back in my the second house I had back in Michigan. So, but I sold it. That would have been a lovely rate to hang on to. I was looking out here when I was, in the market to buy a home, and we were exploring this area. I was looking for assumable mortgages, but that's on existing homes, and there's a lot more, down for that. I mean, it's again, it's kind of tough to find. But assumable mortgages, you basically absorb, the entire amount that the person has left on the mortgage, or there's like a much bigger lump sum that's going to be put down onto that, and you can absorb their mortgage rate. So, or you buy out all the equity that they put into the house rather than putting just 20% down. So, not easy for most folks. Nice, Chazzy. 40 years in Michigan. Where are you at now? Yeah, I didn't trade for the seasons. I mean, Utah certainly has seasons out here. It is uh desert like hot in the summertime. Winters are, I don't love snow to be honest, but 300 plus days a year of sun doesn't feel as crappy. When the roads are plowed, you can still get around and drive, and the mountains are pretty beautiful. If you like to ski and snowboard, you like outdoor activities, it's a pretty sweet place to be. Close by New Mexico, nice, near Tampa, Chazzy. Okay. California, you're never going to get me to live in California, dude. I will never live in California. I will happily visit California. I've got friends in Southern California. I've got a buddy in San Diego, buddy in Sacramento. I'd happily visit. The golf courses are great. It's some of the best weather in the world, but I couldn't ever see myself living in California. All of my friends that have lived in California have grown exponentially cynical with running businesses out there, and just the, I don't know, the cost of living, the taxes, the bureaucracy. Like it's a very different place. So, beautiful colors of Washtenaw County. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, Michigan's fall is really nice. It lasts like a week. Get your color tours in, drive along the coast, go pick some apples. All this stuff's pretty sweet in Michigan. Overcast UK, heading San Diego for the Breeders' Cup in 2 weeks. Very nice, Greg. Tax free in New Hampshire. Oh yeah, New Hampshire. A little Delaware, New Hampshire. Go Nevada. You can go Tennessee. Go Florida. There's some of those state income tax free locations. Yep, Tennessee. Yeah, I was actually one of the guys that works for Prosperity Pub, Christian Roberts. He and I have built some things together, and he lives in Chattanooga, which I had never really thought of market wise, but I didn't realize number one, it's on Eastern time zone, which I wouldn't mind. Mountain time zone's fine. It's just, my day starts at like 5:30. So, but I'm also done by, 2:30, 3 o'clock. So there's a trade-off there. Florida's too humid. Yeah, it is. Florida's fine. I lived in Florida for like 7 or 8 years. Chattanooga, 36 years. Wow, look at this. Got some 40-year Michigan, 36-year Chattanooga. Love mountain time. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I like I said, having the markets, wrap up by 2 o'clock, finish my day, usually around like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Have time with the family. That's a big trade-off versus not that I'm saying like nine to four is not bad. Um, but when I'm sure is it dark now in Michigan by like 6 p.m., 6:30? So at least when we're like done with the workday here, we have a few hours of sunlight. It's getting dark around like 7 right now. Yeah, I know you're one of my favorite places in the world, Catherine. We just talked about it last week, actually. Carter's young enough; he's 9 months old. We've got a second one on the way coming in April. So kids and fam are young enough that if we wanted to, maybe have a 2, 3, 5 year window to live overseas, I think international would be great. Germany would definitely be that potential location. Mike says that with the family, love the family time. Yeah, Arizona, New Mexico. Yeah, New Mexico. I bet. What you have to be like near one of the big cities in New Mexico? Albuquerque. Okay. Yeah. My fiance works for SkyWest, so she can go site visit anytime. She runs all the like hotels and site visits that the crews and pilots stay at. So last year she traveled a ton when they were putting together all their contracts, and now she just has to do like kind of some secret shopper stuff and pop in to double check on transportation and make sure everything's good for the crews. But yeah, she can go to pretty much any market. But yeah, Albuquerque, check it out. I might send her to Chattanooga, Tennessee as well. Winters are mild, weather's awesome, four seasons, nothing extreme. That's always good. I mean, Seattle's not bad either. Like Northwest, I never realized like when my buddy was in Oregon, went to visit him a couple times, playing golf at Bandon Dunes, in Bend. I mean, you can play year round, even though it's not beautiful. It's like 45 to 55 degrees, but it's never winter there. In Seattle, I think like lowest temps in, maybe 50s and highest temps can get up in the 80s, 90s, but there's not really a ton of humidity up there. So different climate. I don't mind it. No coastline in Wyoming if you're a coastline person like me. Yeah, that's true. Spent 2 weeks in Wyoming. Loved it, Larry. Nice. Second child in April. Nice, Catherine. Yep. We just found out. So we had like I think our 10, 11 week appointment yesterday. No, further than that, 14 weeks. So our next one's going to be 20. We are having a girl. So we've got our boy Carter. We're having a girl. So we'll have one of each. We'll see if they're polar opposites or if there's some complements. We'll see. Love the ocean. Yeah, I lived in Florida, lived in Los Olas and Fort Lauderdale, lived in Orlando. We could be at the beach in 30 minutes I mean, even from Michigan, it's like I was only 20, 30 minutes away from like Grand Haven. Really nice areas and on the Lake Michigan shoreline. So beach was accessible, ocean's awesome. Um, I don't know. There's always something, I mean, Florida, the big turnoff is certainly hurricane season, but whatever. Hey, let's talk markets, huh? Girl dad is awesome. Yeah. Hopefully that's the case. I'm thinking it will be. I'm actually curious if it's Carter's going to be more of like mama's boy and our girl will be daddy's girl type thing. So we'll turn her into a golfer, basketball player, something. I'd like her to be a athlete and have some grit, be witty, be smart, be a little spicy, be fun. Pompano Beach. Yep. Trader. There you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to push them into anything I mean, I'd like to get them exposed to everything, but they'll pick their path. But it is a little depressing to think like, what's life going to be like in, 10, 15, 20 years for these kids? Um, I don't know, man. Life is so different. In the evenings and stuff every like Monday, Tuesday, I teach quite a bit for this golf simulator place that I run, and I've worked with a lot of the high school kids, and I've said this for a while, but like kids are different. They're wired different. Like the screen time, it's a weird. I mean, even my nephews, like growing up with they're 21 or 20 and 17 now, and it's just a different kid now. So not in a bad way. It's just it's rare. I mean, I'm generalizing here, but it's rare to see a kid that can maintain eye contact and hold a conversation, which is kind of sad. Yeah, teachers don't teach. I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. Like in college and high school, I'm sure it's just ridiculous where teachers have probably just given up. you know, when you know that all the answers are on your computer. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that there's ways to effectively use it, or teachers are incorporating it in the classroom to make it actually, something to prepare you for. That doesn't make me question the purpose of college when you can just do stuff. If you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, there's a lot more you can do with that versus, I mean, I get the college experience and whatnot, but um, I spent a lot of time in school that doesn't really apply to anything I do today outside of teaching me how to do some research. So, anyway, there's always something, right? Grass is always greener. Kids have it, easy these days, blah, blah, blah. I used to walk uphill both ways in the snow when I was a kid, I get it. So I don't want to sound too old and cranky. I'm just like, these kids are. So anyway, all right, let's talk some levels. VIX at 2396. Let's do the math. 23.96. Potentially a 1.5% move today. We have seen a lot of intraday volatility this entire week. We've seen gaps all over the place. We've seen swings. We've seen big percentage moves. Market makers have still done a fantastic job of helping us win every week. So, I mean, we won the day yesterday. We won the day Wednesday. We survived the day Tuesday, won the day Monday, even won Friday last week. So we've got a nice little streak going considering this crazy high VIX, which, just kind of supports the daily profit play with what we do every single day. It's not something that I want to overtrade, certainly. I'm curious how today plays out. Futures market is softer, looking for some flows to potentially be gravitating towards these lows down here. But depending on what this volatility index looks like today, if it continues to slide, are we going to see, open up a little bit softer, goes into this level, critical spot, 65.50, or I'm sorry, 66.50, 66.55. That's the negative versus positive gamma. If we get above that, we've been up here for the week, we've been down here for the week. So kind of the trade-off is, if we get above this gamma point, does it hold and reject? As in we go up here and then fall, and we're trying to magnetically pull ourselves down to these levels? Or is this going to be fall and pull our way down to these levels, find support, and then work our way back up, and then we're none the wiser? Nothing really changes, right? So I will look mechanically at a couple of probably bear call spreads this morning, just in case, unless we get a sell put that's way below 6,500, which probably won't be, because that's going to be like 100 plus points away. So that'll be way, way out of the money. I don't mind doing like that 10 or 15 wide, like we talked about earlier this week. I had a couple of those trades pending. They never filled, but going to the kind of those VIX extremes. And the difficult thing is calling the bottom. If the VIX is going to return, if the VIX is going to return elevated, then it's, you don't want to call the bottom for the day. Okay. So calling the top is a little bit easier, even though we have certainly gotten to those exact levels. So my top for the day would be calculate out about 1.4, 1.5. Wow, that's way up there. 1.5 from yesterday's close puts us around 67.27. Okay, so 67.27, 67.25 to 67.30. Potential top. Shoot, I moved my alarm on accident. Let's go text box. 67.25, 67.30. Potential top. And then we're going to gap a little bit lower today from what I can see. Futures down about 0.19, so that's starting to sell off a little bit. But 1.49, 1.5, about 65.25. Potential bottom. But I'll make a note here. Beware of the 6,500 gamma. Okay, if the VIX picks up a little bit through the morning and through the trading day, then be aware that there is a gamma level around 6,500. One sec. All right, windows down. Larry, yeah, it's possible. That's one trade I want to look at. Again, with the high VIX though, I don't want to go wider than like 20, 25 points. Let's take a look at the plus minus on the day. So let's go SPX. Make sure you're choosing weekly expirations, not AM expirations. And the plus or minus is, wow, that's really, really wide. Plus or minus 66 points. Oh, baby. I do wonder if that is because this is the VIX elevated. I mean, when we closed yesterday, what was the VIX at yesterday? When we closed yesterday around 4 p.m., the VIX is at 25, gapped up into the 28, 29s this morning. So that's probably, I'm not saying this can't be hit. But man, if we could sell, 80 to 90 to 100 points wide, as in bear call spreads above, bull put spreads below, we can go 80 to 100 points higher or lower. Mechanically speaking, that should be a pretty safe trade. And at the open, this is more than likely going to be, reduced, especially with the VIX retreating by 5 points. So let's price out a reverse iron condor. I think that's a good trade today. That trade managed is going to be later in the day, though. I mean, usually those are, if you take the trade in for like $6 credit, set a 550 debit if you want it to close out automatically by, noon or 1 o'clock. That usually works out pretty well. But it's not something we get out right. We don't close those reverse iron condors within the first like 60 minutes like we do our standard daily profit play. So, all right, market is open. We are gapping a little bit lower here. Let me bring up my real-time gamma as well. VIX at 23.90. Yep. So let's have a look. Let's see how high up we can go. If I can sell like the 65, 67, 25, 30 zones and maybe get some premium for it, that's way up there, but not awful. We can maybe sneak $1 here, 25 and 30. Maybe stack up a couple of these trades. 75 and 30. No, it's trading for garbage right now. So I'm going to go a little bit wider here. I'm going to go 25 by 40. And let's see, what would be my... I don't want to call the bottom. I'm going to sprinkle in a couple of these. I'm going to go 25 by 40 and 30 by 45. That's 15 wide. That's $3K in risk. I'm going to try to pull in $1,000. So I'm going to go $10 credit. I don't know if this is going to fill. Okay. So if I put in the trade here, I'm willing to risk $2,000 to make one. And that should be a high probability trade. The issue is we might not get this thing filled. Okay. So that's way out of the way. Those are super low deltas, unlikely going to get filled. There's like maybe a small chance that gets filled. But in a 0 day, that's going to be tough because I'm asking for a lot of credit. But either way, I'll put the trade in. Next, let's go to our reverse iron condor and see. I want to get out of some of these dead zones. I mean, if Friday just stays right here, I'm hoping that's not the case. Either we move up to 50 plus and get above into positive gamma. So I would say as long as price is going to be above like maybe 25 or so, and then maybe back below 60. Let me see. I want to try to keep like a 20 to 30 wide at most. I mean, we still have a 57 point plus or minus on the morning, which is pretty wide. So how wide do we have to go? Let's see if we're below 66. If we're below 66, that's pretty attractive there. We find some gamma levels at 50 or 25. So below 6,600. So I'll do a bear call spread in the money there. And then above currently, I mean, maybe do 10 points in the money. So that'd be below 60 or maybe the 25. Really? So below 6,600 or above 25. So I get 550 credit on that trade. I'm going 25 wide, 30 wide. It's just, see this just a terrible fill. Now that's different if it jumps up to $6. Let me see if I can get $6 on this trade. The spread's a little bit wide, but I'll try it. $6, I'm not offended by a $6 fill. Right now it's showing like 555, 540, 560. We're probably not going to get the fill right there. And if it gets filled, it's going to be later in the day, which you don't necessarily want. Like I want to get filled at the prices I'm kind of determining as if we're below 66 or above 66.30, then sure, we've got room to go up and down based on what I see intraday. But it's only offering like 560 to 570. That's not really enough for me to justify that trade. So I'm probably going to cancel that reverse because I'd have to go wider. I don't want like a 40-point dead zone. I'm already given it 30 and it's only like a 570 fill. So I'll cancel that reverse. I just don't think it's going to be good enough fill. Now let's just go to the mechanics of a standard daily profit play. VIX is elevated. Okay. This is a good thing. Let's see if we can pull in for even like a wider, like a 67. 67, that's an 11 delta. 67. I mean, if we come to test these highs at all, maybe the 20s. Let's see. This is a 10 delta. 6,700 is a 10 delta. And then put side 65. And I don't mind this trade for $1. Okay, 67 is my 50% ATR. Gosh, it's like all these things they're just gettable. We've seen so much intraday volatility, just seems gettable. Let me do this. I'm going to try to put in a trade it might just be a pending for the day. Try to get filled at a credit that we want, but put it at levels that we're a little bit more confident with. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go, this is 67.65. I'm going to go like 50. I might go 10 wide here. 50 to 60. And I'm going to go below this. Let me just write this down. So I'm going to go 67, 50. And then I think I need to go, I safely want to go below 6,500. So like 64.90 maybe on the put side. This might not fill. This trade's offering over $1 right now. Do I like this enough? Now my call side is a 13 delta. All right, I'm going to cancel this trade. I'm going to go a little bit higher. So this one's already set up 67.25. Okay, so if I did a 15 by 20 on the call side, I'm going to go 64, 90, and 85. This trade for $1 I'm going to take. It's not filled. It's trading at like 70 cents, but this is a pretty good looking trade either side. I think it's pretty safe on the call side, pretty safe on the put side, and if we get filled for $1. So it's got to get filled pretty early. Maybe price jumps up somewhat aggressively. It gets us filled on one side or the other. As long as price doesn't get through those lines that we're establishing with our two spreads, will be okay. I'm going to put this in for $1. All right. So my choice of the day is a pending order. I'm not jumping and just taking a fill. Okay. So I'll put this in the chat. So for Daily Profit Play Telegram, here it is. Pending order, SPX, 10/17 expiration. Okay. There's pending order. So now, in truth, we just kind of hang out because if this is my kind of top bottom area, I will draw this out. So I'm looking at 67.15. So 67.15 and 64.95. I did 90 actually. Okay, so that's how wide I'm going. And here's live price. So what we are seeing right now, and this is a monthly expiration. There's a lot of money expiring today. It's like $300 billion, which isn't some record, but it's, there's a lot of uncertainty. You can like sense the tension in the market. We've clearly had a lot of intraday swings this week. The market really hasn't gone anywhere. This is why I posted that video yesterday, right? You zoom out, everything is kind of dictating like what's next. Do we keep this rally alive? Do we start to falter? This is like the perfect seasonal weakness window right now, because it should have happened like August, September, but it didn't. So now that we've pushed that back and delayed it, I just want to make sure that we're not doing anything silly. So if price ultimately gets us where we need to go, this is what I'm watching for the day. If we stay in negative gamma, we shouldn't have tons and tons of support. This thing shouldn't be necessarily drifting higher. But of course, if it breaks 66.50 and 66.55, then that, like, I don't know, it reinforces like people are selling puts, people are doing bull put spreads, and the market just goes higher and higher and higher. Okay, even though it should be a slow grind, but at a VIX at 24, it's gonna be something to watch. So directionally, Gosh, I kind of like this. This would be a pretty cheap trade for double ups. I'm not going to be able to manage the trade. I'm heading out of the office here in a couple of hours. But if I did a butterfly spread down here, not a broken wing, but just a butterfly spread, if price gets to 65.50 or lower, that would be a pretty good spot to look at throwing a net out there to cast like a very inexpensive debit spread that pays some profit. I don't know if price settles here necessarily. And I don't want to go super wide. I'd probably go with the VIX in the 20s. I mean, going like 15 to 20 wide seems pretty doable, but it's going to be pretty expensive. If I did like, let's say 65.25 butterfly spread, let me see, 65.25. So this would be a butterfly put spread and go to, I said 65. Oops. Let's go 65. So if I did 65.25 as my pin price, if I went 10 wide, cost me 20 cents to get a 10 wide trap. Cost me 40 cents to go 15 wide. Cost me a little bit more here. I mean, 60 to 70 cents debit. This is really cheap. I mean, you get a 20 wide net, costs you 75 cents or so, but you can make up to $2,000 on this trade. That's a ridiculous reward to risk. Problem is, I don't know if we're going all the way down to 25. It's cheap enough, but I think the better net is maybe casting it at like the 65.50 zone, just because that seems more gettable. Now it's going to be more expensive though. Watch. So if I move these strikes to 65.50, make that my pin price, 10 wide cost me 20, 30 cents. Obviously not a bad trade. I'm gonna take this trade. This is 10 wide, maybe 15 wide. I'm gonna risk $50 here. See if I go 50 to $60. This will be a double up. If I get this trade filled, a double up trade. See, we get filled for 60 cents. Come on. I am 15 wide. All right, 15 wide for 65. Come on, don't be stingy, market. All right, just got to fill double up trade. It's a butterfly spread. I'm pinning this thing with the 65.50. I wanted to see if price can get there. So 65.50 and then going 15 wide. Buck said did a 10 wide for $30. Yeah, that's a good trade. All right, Gianna, this alert's coming for double up. So Daily Profit has a pending order. It's trading around 70 cents. I'm putting it in for $1. Double up new trade is coming in right now. This is 10/17 expiration and 65.65 put, 65.50 put, and 65.35 put for 65 cents debit. Max risk 65 cents. Max credit would be $15. Large reward, low risk setup. Looking to see if the 65 cents debit will trade for $1.50 credit or more. Okay. So that's not a bad play. That is in right now. So SPX here. So there's my double up. Trading at 65. Let's see if we can get price to quickly go there. Maybe this thing will offer $1.50 credit. Grab a winner. I guess I'll try to get a $1.65. Maybe I can grab a quick $100 out of it. So that's not a bad take profit. $1.50 or better is pretty good. Even a 100%, even $1.30. Make a quick 100%. That would feel pretty good. So I'll keep an eye on that one this morning. Okay, what I'm seeing in real time. certainly more put side gamma, more like negative gamma. If we're starting to see this increase a little bit, where the bear sentiment's pulling away, the put sentiment's pulling away. Um, you know, we've got some support at 6,600. You can see that's my largest gamma right here. Let me make sure I've got this timeline. This should be ultra short term. Yep. So we're on 0 DT. So between 6,600 and 6,550, the reason I chose that 6,550 pin price is because it's right at the 50% ATR, and we have some gamma pulls to there too. If I lose, I lose $65. If I win, hopefully I can double that or make more. Okay, so I'll throw this in. If you want that trade, you can have it. I mean, I'm taking it during daily profit play. It's not officially daily profit play trade. It's going to be double up trade, but the trade is this. I'll type in the chat for everybody. This is for double up. So it's SPX 1017 expiration, the 65.65 put, 65.50 put, and 65.35 put for 65 cents debit. Okay, that is a trade that looks like this. It is a butterfly trade where I have this small risk. So if price goes too low or doesn't go, if price goes up, I'm going to lose on the trade. If price goes sideways, I'm going to lose on the trade. If price goes down, we have a chance to make a nice win. Okay. Now you look at this and you see a profit trap there. So I'll just show you this exact trade. And this is what I teach in double ups. Let's go option strat. Oh, my monitor just disappeared. Option strat. Oh my gosh, stop doing that. Build, and I'm looking for my put butterfly. So I just did this today. So the 17th. Okay, so we went down to 65.50 and then 15 wide. So 65 and 35. Okay, so that's the trade. Now, real time, this is what the trade is doing right now. So if I want to see some profit on this, I need price to start dropping. If price drops to like 65.90, we can start to see some gains. Even in the next let's go out to 11 o'clock this morning. Okay, so by 11 o'clock this morning, by the time we wrap up today's session, if we're trading at 6,600, we'll see a small profit. If we're trading at 65.90, we'll see a small profit. If we're trading at 75, if we're getting down to our profit trap is here, we're going to see close to 100% gain. Even if it's quick, if it comes down quickly, we can still see a pretty good chunk of profit. I might just take that profit and move on. Later in the day, this just gets better and better. So if we are down to 6,500 or 65.50, 65.25, it comes back into this profit trap. Later in the day, this trade starts to get better and better and better and better. So by 1 in the afternoon, now this trade is offering about 150% profit. If you're in the profit trap zone, it's going to start offering at least 100% gain. So by the afternoon, because of enough time, this trade can offer up at least 100%. Now later in the day as well, here's 2 p.m. Same thing here. That's offering almost 200% profit. Okay. What's insane would be this. If late in the day, and this is like the final 30 minutes of trading, if we are inside this profit trap in any way, shape, or form, the amount of profit is ridiculous. So, even the ability to make $15 credit minus the debit. Okay. So that potential profit on a 65 cent, I can make 22 times my money. But again, the trade-off is you got to wait and manage this thing for the end of the day. Or you got to be willing to take the profit way earlier and just accept look, the high to me to maintain I do in double ups to maintain a 60% win rate, I've got to maintain the aggressive take profit. So if I'm up 120, 150%, I typically take it just because I know that's an easier payday than it is to try to get this thing nailed down at the end of the day. That's very, very difficult to do. Okay. Micron. You've got to be kidding me. I just had this chart alarm go off on Micron this morning. Check this out. Anybody that was in my newsbreakers, we had a fill on Micron. Okay. Now again, I'm totally fine taking the trade. We took a $20 loss on the trade, so I'm not really hurt. My feelings aren't hurt, but it was a $7.50 fill. I'll show you this trade. It's probably trading for maybe a small profit right now. That's break even. It's back to break even. I'm not going to get overly excited. But if it's below 197.50, if it's below 197.50, that would have been some profit. We pulled in 750 credit on a 10 wide trade. So it's very little risk. But because it was filled literally yesterday and it's all or nothing today, I need price to be at 197.50 or lower. And we're sitting here at 206. I'm like, well, anything can happen, but we certainly don't have to get back down to fill this gap today. So I took the $20 loss versus risking 250 on it, but I'm just curious where this thing settles at the end of the day. Okay. All right. So daily profit play pending order. Double up. So I'm looking to put a profit trap in down here at this first target, seeing if I can turn that into a 100% or better. Daily profit play is still pending. So we're choppy right here. If price decides to break and get above this gamma point or this positive and negative gamma pivot, so be it. I mean, our trades are up here, hopefully out of the way. If we get filled for the credit that we want, I still think it's a good trade. Mechanically, the daily profit play is a good trade. I'm not settling for lower credit. We should have a high probability profit on that trade. But I'm going to give price room to move. If we get filled, great. I think that's a high probability we could take $1 and probably go after, a 50-cent debit, maybe less. I think we might be able to hang on to it all day. But I don't really want to do that. I'd rather just set the 50% and walk away. For a day like day where I'm going nice and wide, we'll see. So, and getting through today's expiration as well, it's like Monday is a wide open, nobody knows what's going to happen on Monday. So one thing that has been challenging sometimes is these markets have so much anticipation into an expiration cycle like today that it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything going into expiration. And then Monday, it's like, well, a big directional day on Monday. I have no idea. But all I'm paying attention to is what I see, which is we're still not above this high. We're still not below this low. We have negative gamma that we need to be mindful of. And if it stays negative gamma, then this also acts as resistance. So if the market comes up here today and finds this negative gamma spot and doesn't get above it, that could be a rejection spot for us to head back down, retest the lows, maybe work our way down to these larger levels. This is the magnet for the day. Okay. If I'll draw out that little cartoon magnet here. This should be where prices are gravitating towards. If we're going to satisfy some of these gamma flows, that's where we'd be going today. Okay. But how does it get there? I mean, you can draw out all these different nuances of how price action can get there, but we just have to pay attention. So for the morning, basically we're kind of stuck right here. If this low is cleared, we're heading down. But right now the market seems to be like, nope, we're up. Besson's talking. UBS lists global equities used to attractive on AI boost. Yeah, just leave it to the market to sprinkle enough positive crap that it's like, yeah, we're not going to go down today. But the day isn't done. Yesterday was bad and regional banks were bad. That was the narrative. It faded through the day. I'm curious how this takes shape. Do we get into positive gamma? Do we start to see a call wall up here? Let's see what our daily profit play is looking at right now. It might be trading a little bit higher since there's been a bit of a directional move. We're trading for about 80 cents right now. So a little bit more of a push to the upside. We should be okay to get filled. So based on the open, VIX at 20, I mean, we're looking at 1.5%. Okay. So if we did it based on the VIX, we should still be safe on the daily profit play to get some profit. I'm hoping based on the VIX. 1.5% VIX at 24. Where we open today. I mean, I just want to be, I realize like this could be the top, like 25-30 could be the top if we're gonna have like a big freaking push. But I'm hoping that we don't. Look at how this is changing. Okay. Now we're starting to see like the 67, 67, 20 starting to fill up a little bit. On my real-time gamma, same thing here. All of a sudden that 66 looks way less gettable. And now we're starting to fill up the 6,700. This is what's annoying about the SPX sometimes in a 0-day environment. So now I look at that double up trade, and now I want to see, could I get a pin at 6,700? And I hate trading it both ways, but honestly, that's probably what I'm going to have to do. So if I pin this at 67, so it's 45 cents to go 10 wide. Maybe this is a little bit cheaper. So I can go 10 wide there for 45 cents. It cost me $1 to go 15 wide. I'll go 10 wide here. I'm going to see if I can get this trade. This is going to be another trade for double up. This is kind of how I'm reading the day. 45 cents, maybe 50 cents. All right, 50-cent debit. I'll get 2 in here. 45. All right, that's not a bad fill. Fill for 45. All right, I'll post this in for double ups. This is another one, Deanna, for officially double up. Double up. I hate taking both sides of the trades, but that's just kind of what you have to do sometimes. 10-17 expiration. I am buying the 66.95 call, selling the 67.05 call, buying the 67.15 call for 45 cents debit. Max risk 45 cents. Max credit $10. Looking for this one, I'd like to see $1.50 credit or more to close. This makes today's trade a call fly and put fly, looking for net profit. Okay. So I just took this trade here. Post this for everybody if you want it. That's the trade. So that's officially double ups. That's the alert that went out. Now I'm going to look at this trade here. So this is a double up calls. And I'll rename this one for double up puts. Okay. So for the day, I'm going to pay attention to this because if one of these is positive, I'm going to try to take profit. Right. So I set in $1.65 in this one. I'll go $1.50 on the call side. $1.50 on the call side gets me net profit on the day. So filled closing order. What? Hang on. So that fills. Oh, crap. Now I need to adjust my daily profit play. So this pending order, now I need to make this an adjustment. So I have a 15 call. I've got to cancel this and adjust my daily profit play. This one is all the way up to the highs today. All right, give me a second. Now I will put in the $1.50 credit and $1.50 credit. Okay. And then I will go above that. So, I might have to go 20, sell the 20, buy the 30. And then on the put side, I was going below 65. I will go 90 by 80. I'm going to put this in for $3. So it's trading for $1, but it's 10 wide. That's a little bit too much risk in my opinion. I'm going to go $3 here and see if we get filled. All right. So I'll make this modification. Sorry, it's kind of all over the place, but all right. Pending order. Update. SPX 1017 expiration. Sell the 6720. 6490. Because I'm sprinkling in a double up call fly and put fly, I need to modify my pending DPP. Updated above. Okay, that's $3 pending. PM, always PM. I never use AM expirations unless I have no other option. I'm usually doing the weeklies and the afternoon expirations. Okay. All right. So let me do one thing here. I'm going to run through some trades. I talked about Project Options Edge. I've never really, done a walkthrough in a live session like this. I usually just send out videos or do live sessions for the Project Options Edge members. But there's some trades in here that I definitely want to be considering some profit taking today. So let's see. Adobe. I mean, like a trade like this, I mean, I'm on the hook for some decent buying power. The probability of profit's 93%. It's up 62% right now. I can make an extra, 70 cents by waiting. I'm just gonna take like take a walkthrough and write down the symbols and then just kind of make an assessment. So I like the ratio spread here in Amazon. It's up 36%. I think this one's fine. Also, I wouldn't mind owning Amazon. Baidu is still running. This one is up a decent amount, but it was up as high as like 130, 135, 140. I've got to take profits at 155. So hopefully we can get back up there. If we fix this crap with China, then I think Baidu has a chance to revisit those highs. BITO, that's Bitcoin related. Dutch Brothers, this one is barely positive, but still 86% chance profit. Okay, so bros, I don't need to take profit on that one yet. Cracker Barrel, I did that one during profit panel. Chipotle, maybe some assignments coming by the end of the year. I'm not going to close it because I don't mind taking the assignment. Coinbase, this one is up, 45%. Probably not going to take the profit early on that. Costco, this one's up 8. Like this one's pretty good. Costco looks pretty good. So Dutch Bros, I can probably close it out. Costco, COST. We've already taken one trade off for like $500. This one is for 418. It's up 332. It's up 80%. Again, would I want to own shares of Costco? There's a 99.5% chance that it doesn't get assigned. Even with the crazy volatility right now, it's still a 99.5% profit. I think that's a good thing. So I don't really have to close out the trade. I could get an extra 80 to 90 bucks on the trade. But as I get closer to like 85% max profit, 90% max profit, it doesn't really do me any good to hold out for that last little bit of time when I can take most of the profit. So Costco's one. CVX, that's Chevron. The Dow, that's still grinding. DraftKings, this one's down a little bit with a ratio spread. Naked put combo on EIX. EWJ is Japan, Brazil. This one is a ETF, FCX. The big disruptions in copper. We've had some pretty crazy moves in this one. This one's out to next summer. I still think commodities are a pretty good place to be. I like this one. This is just naked puts. FXY, that's the Japanese yen. I'm going to hold that one longer. GLD just did ratio spreads. I'm looking for a pretty sizable pullback on gold and silver. I'm hoping it happens technically, but realistically, I probably have to put in, and I'll show this today too. I'm looking at, so clearly SLV is cheaper than GLD. If I wanted to, obviously like trade one of them, GLD is gold, right? So you got your gold standard. Silver is your poor man's gold. But if I want to get into control 100 shares of something, SLV is obviously way cheaper, right? It's trading for like $50 versus GLD's at 390. Anyway, so all I've been doing is selling puts and, doing some ratio spreads. Google, I have some shares. I have a hedge that's worthless. I guess that's okay. I can close this one out anytime. I guess it's not a huge position, obviously. What's the most I can lose in this? I'm already down the full amount. Let me see Google. I might just close out these shares. It doesn't really do me any good to have them open right now. So GOOGL. We're sitting near all-time highs. I mean, 5 shares isn't a ton, but it's it's $1,000. Let's see. If I close out the shares, I make $300. Year to date, it's over 1,000. Let the put expire worthless. We're at the all-time highs. I don't know. I'm gonna probably take some profit here. I'll close. Just close out my shares. Done. Okay. HD Home Depot. Up $77 out of max 170. Probability of profits 99.5%. That's good. HIMS, 91% chance of profit. Pretty volatile, but currently up about 64%. Humana, this is insurance. I mean, I think it's good. Bitcoin, got a lot of stuff going on here. Project options edge, bull put spreads, naked put combos. Bitcoin is down, but I'm still willing to kind of ride this thing out for the end of the year. IBM, that wouldn't be bad. I think IBM is maybe worth taking some profit. That's not really a stock that I want to own necessarily. Intel, I'm just going to roll since it's already in the money. Pinch point for this one's up 7%. IWM, I'm just rolling calls. Got some ratio spreads that are looking high probability, 95 and 97% on IWM to stay in profit. JD, I own the shares. I'm just covering. Johnson & Johnson, that's fine. Coca-Cola, had the shares. Done some ratio spreads here as well. This is covered. And then I did this for Project Options Edge this week. So that is a 112. It's just a combo, which is I'm buying the 55, selling the 52.50 for a bear put trap, and then 2 naked puts at $50. So if I own Coca-Cola, it's at like a massive discount. And there's 3+%, almost 4% dividends. I like this better than this. I chose this trade because I just got out of Walmart for profit at over $100. I took like almost $20 a share on that, and it got called away last week. So Coca-Cola, I mean, whether they decide, hey, look, Coca-Cola is terrible for you, they're still one of the largest beverage companies in the world, so they can supply the world with water if they want to. I still think it's a good trade with a dividend, but I'm putting it at levels where it's like I'm not interested in buying Coca-Cola at 68. I'm interested in buying Coca-Cola at 50 at a huge discount. So that pulls in $1.40. Lululemon, 160 by 155. This one is down. Maybe I get lucky on a ratio spread if this thing stops sucking a little bit. Philip Morris or Altria, some puts. Just need some time in that one. Microsoft. Is Microsoft still close to the highs or not really? Getting back to highs on Microsoft, I'm not in for a huge position, obviously. I'm up, $300. I could probably do a better job of dollar cost averaging here. I'm just going to close out Microsoft for a small win. Okay. So take that winner. MicroStrategy. I am only in a couple of shares. Bull call spread that's $3 debit for a $12 winner, and then a $500 ratio spread that should be pretty good, but Bitcoin has to stop also sucking. Micron ratio spreads, like this trade a lot. This one's fine. This one is a diagonal spread for Norwegian Cruise Lines. NVIDIA, own some shares, selling some calls. Ratio spreads, those are fine. NVO, that's a ratio spread. That is Novo Nordisk. PepsiCo, this one, like, I need to take profit on that one. It's up 93, 94, 95% of profit. It doesn't do me any good to sit on this thing through 91 more days to make $7. So I'm going to try to close this one down right now, if it will let me. And this is why I don't love it. Hang on a second. So this is a $1.19. It's showing $1.13. This should be like a 10-cent debit or less. What is up with this price? I'm going to go 10-cent debit. Well, maybe the probability of profit is just so high, I just don't touch it. So I guess I'll wait this one out for 90 days. Fine. Pfizer, I own some shares, ratio spreads. I'm not closing out the diagonal. This one is into summer of next year. Progressive, 90% chance of profit. That's fine for a couple $100. PSP, that's private equity. Qs, a lot of waterfalls and ratio spreads. I've been selling some premium this weekend. Project Options Edge. Yeah, David, it's in. So the modification was in daily profit play, not double ups. Double ups are fine. Daily profit play is the modification in Telegram for members. Okay, Qs just have some waterfall strategy 2s running. Equal weight. I'm in this one. I'm going to take profit on my equal weights. I'll take profit here. So QQQE. So I've got Google, Microsoft, QQQE. I'm going to close this thing down. That's not a terrible winner. That's $300. So close out for about $1,000. RSP, that's equal weight. S&P, that's up 167. Kind of the same thing here. I'll close this one down for profit. RSP. All right, so Google closed, Microsoft closed, QQQE closed, RSP closed. The other ones I'll assess if I want to close those out for ratio spreads. Schwab dividends, holding, growth. This one's not awful. I don't mind taking profit on this one. SCHG. I can always dollar cost average into it again. It's up. I don't know. I mean, it's up. It's up $550. I'll take it. I can utilize that capital elsewhere. But that split is pretty attractive. I just think this thing can drop. It's only 100 shares. It's $3,000. It's not a huge allocation. All right, I'll just hold for right now. SCHG. Y is international. So this is non-US. So between SCHG and Y, that's another $1,000. Okay. If I close, okay, I'm just going to close it. SCHY. Taking some more profit there. SkyWest. This one's up most of the profit. 310. I'm up 296. Can I close this one down? Actually, it expires today. So SkyWest is going to be another winner today. Yep. MGM. SkyWest is good. That'll be full profit today. So no need to close it. When it's going to close on its own. Silver. Bought the shares. Did a collar trade. This one's fine. I'll just hang on to this. So this is probably what I'm going to do. I want to talk about if I bought shares of silver, I'm looking at going, what I was debating on is going out further on the call side in time and less on the put side and see if I can finance more of like the at the money puts. So I'll just hang on to this for a second. SPX, lots of strategy twos for waterfall. That's pretty much what all this is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Waterfall strategy 2. Waterfall strategy 2. And then this is a bear call that I rolled. Oops, not roll again. Okay, so keep an eye on that one. SPY. It sold some premium this week. There's a naked put. And that's a 475 naked put to December. Unless we're coming all the way back to April lows, I was okay taking that trade. Still have some hedges. Have my 15% buffer, which is my strategy 2 for waterfall. I did some more of those as well. October 31st. This is a 1111. That's a waterfall strategy 2. January. That's a 111. December 31st is a ratio spread. And this one is buy the put, sell the put. This was a hedge. That's a deep out of the money hedge or way out of the money hedge. AT&T naked put combo. Not a bad one to protect. So closed out that. AT&T is up. Max profit would be $600, 25, 22, and 20. I don't really want the assignment on this, even though it'd only be 300 shares. Not super expensive, but I'm up nearly $500. So if I could get this thing trading for like $1 or less, then I'll probably take the profit. Target looking better. I can only make another $30 on this one, so that one's probably worth closing as well. T-Mobile, it's up 45%. There's still some juice in this one to hang into or hang on to. Tesla, turn this into like a campaign trade. Natural gas, see if we get a run in. This is into January 2027. United Healthcare, decent enough, I think. Especially given this one was like a terrible performer this year. It's up 80%. Not a bad one to take profit on. UPS, still have some room in that one. USO did a ratio spread for oil. VIX, that's my VIX for April. I close out the Novembers. XLE, naked put combo, XLU, ratio spreads. I'm going to hang on to that one. Did you know utilities, by the way, is the best performing sector of 2025? Utilities. Utilities. Crazy, right? Outperforming tech. Chevron or Exxon. Yeah, there's plenty of room for that one. XOP, another oil play. It's a ratio spread. And Zoom, up about 50% and a 91% chance of profit. Okay. Do I want to own Zoom? I mean, not really. There's a 91% chance it stays out of the money right now. And again, considering we're seeing like high VIX, seeing a 90+% chance of this high VIX is pretty reassuring that if we obviously see like a VIX contraction, then these are going to be easier to justify like staying out of the money. So, all right. So it looks like as far as combing my portfolio today, Closing out positions: Google, Microsoft, QQQE, which is equal weight Nasdaq, equal weight S&P, Schwab Growth, Schwab International. Those are ETFs. I'll get back into those. AT&T, Target, UNH looks pretty good for those ratio spreads and Project Options Edge. So if I close those down officially, I'll make those updates for Project Options Edge. But that gives me, I got to go through a lot of stuff here for all these accounts to take care of that stuff, which is fine. So that looks like that's going to be my day. All right. At 3 p.m. today, I will be doing a waterfall income masterclass, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to do a combo class with Strategy 1, Strategy 2, all in one session. So if you'd like to do the masterclass with me, you're welcome to join me as a member of Waterfall Income. I'll talk about that in just a moment. And then also on Monday will be a live trading session for our service. So I'm still, I don't know, I'm growing a little cautious right now. I certainly want to be considering raising some capital. If I close out those positions I just talked about today, then I'd probably increase my buying power back up to like 2.5-ish, 2.6. And I can start looking at some new allocations. I want to put some additional levels. I've got dollar cost averaging sitting in GLD, SLV, PHYS, and CEF. All those are waiting to kind of buy some dips on gold. Let me take a look at gold today. Okay, for the first time in a week or so, we finally had a decent pullback candle. Silver, same thing. Is this immediately buy the dip? I would hope it's not. I mean, I'd like to see silver down here so I can actually get a dollar cost average fill. So maybe there's some follow through there. SPX, we're still in no man's land for the day. We've literally had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in Nowheresville, right? And we're getting through a major expiration cycle. So today, take a look at our gamma. What did price end up doing? So we tested the negative gamma, this positive negative gamma flip zone. And so far, if it's going to reject off of it, then maybe this is resistance. Maybe this level at 66 is the bigger level to attract price for the day. But overall, Friday would be a very quiet Friday. I mean, if it stays here where it's not going, if it stays here, and this is the entire Friday, that's a very quiet Friday. And unfortunately, I didn't go tight enough the price to, get filled on my daily profit play. So I'm just kind of waiting to see, do we get the trade that we want? Okay. So before we officially sign off here, it's only 10:22. Like I said, waterfall income at 3 p.m. today. We're looking at about 20% winners on all of our trades. We have